That's wrong. There we go. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Pixel, and I am joined today by Bonus Mom and Jacob.
Hi, everybody.
And we are going to be doing a character creation tutorial for Stars Without Number. We've been talking about this for a while. We've done some world building for this game and setting and stuff. And we are hoping that we can provide this as a resource to people in the AOA Discord to kind of get their hands on the system a little bit if they want. So um, feel free to follow along with us as we go. And we're going to kind of just go over how to make characters for Stars Without Number. So the first thing that I kind of want to start by talking about with you guys is really sort of starting to, and this is the way I would do this if we were doing an actual session zero for this, is to talk to you all about like what kind of sci-fi stories do you really like. So like what sorts of whether that's TV shows, anime, movies, books, media of any kind, like what sorts of sci-fi stories like do you really enjoy and would be interested in, like it would be fun if we played a game that was kind of like this or kind of like that. Like what are the different sort of science fiction vibes that you guys tend to go for?
Yeah. Well, I was raised on Star Wars, so already right there, there's something that I love, but I've got a real
Classic.
passion for the space western, like Cowboy Bebop
Mm-hmm.
kind of Firefly style setup as well. I love sci-fi and really any scenario, whether it's the down to earth kind of like how it would actually happen, or if it's the crazy fantastical like Warhammer 40,000 style crazy sci-fi. I just like space.
Space. Very cool. What about you,
Well,
bonus mom?
when I was just heading my teenage years, I got a hold of a book by Robert Heinlein called "Have Spacesuit Will Travel," and that had such an interesting title that I had to read that book, and I loved it. And one of the things I loved about it was it had kids in it. It was like kids in outer space, and that was really fun. And then I watched the first ever episode of Star Trek when it first premiered on television. I was there. I wept that I found out it had been canceled preemptively and absolutely devastated whole tons of us. And so that was something that I really loved. In addition to that, Annie McCaffrey is my idol as far as sci-fi fantasy. Her Dragon Riders of Pern and her Freedom's Landing series, both which have to do with settling on a foreign planet, some other star planet or something in a different solar system somewhere, and then finding out there's a huge problem after you've already settled there and can't turn back. And then how do you deal with the problem? So those are the kinds of sci-fi fantasy things I like.
Very cool. Yeah, for me, I have enjoyed a lot of different stuff. I enjoy some Star Wars media. I haven't seen a lot of like Star Trek. I've seen like the new movies and I've seen or some of the new movies and I've seen like a couple of the old episodes, but not a ton of it. Um I of course have seen like Cowboy Bebop and I think I watched Serenity, but I never watched Firefly. I've played a lot of Borderlands, some different video games and stuff like that. So yeah, it seems like we have a pretty wide range of stuff that people like here. One of the things I think about Stars Without Number is that it is a pretty flexible system. Um, in terms of its like the system itself doesn't have a lot of hard trappings to it that would like lock you into sort of one vibe or another, if that makes sense. Um, so I feel like it's something you could run everything from like a space western to like a bounty hunter game to like a more noirish type thing. Um, and all kinds of different stuff. But I kind of wanted to get a sense from you guys, like if you had thoughts about, you know, what the overall vibe of the kind of characters you wanted to make was. And it doesn't really sound like we have a hard consensus, which I think is fine. Um, I think the types of things that I want to run in this are also pretty flexible. But there certainly could be a situation where you'd have players who would say like, yeah, we basically want to play, Cowboy Bebop in a tabletop role playing game, which I think this pretty much would be flexible enough to do, right? You would have sort of a, you know, semi tragic, noirish type game with like bounty hunters and, you know, uh, lots of like gangs and crime, and you're sort of, you know, always on the verge of being broke and barely scraping by doing like bounty missions and stuff. All the way up to everything more like a big space opera, like a Star Wars type thing where, a ragtag group of, plucky rebels is overthrowing the, interstellar empire or whatever. So, but without having like a really solid sense of like everyone wants to kind of do the same thing, I think let's just start jumping right into character creation. So, I think this is a system where having a concept of your character before you get started is kind of a good idea. So, why don't we talk a little bit about that? And sort of like, because I know both of you guys have thought about it a little bit and sort of come to the stream with some ideas of like what you're thinking about you want to do. So whichever one of you wants to start, hit me with like what you're kind of thinking.
Me? Okay.
Sure.
So, you told me that, can we talk about the things that you've told us, like the influencer and the things like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you told us that one of the things about this part of the world that these worlds we're going to be in is that communication is huge, and that everybody on this planet that this adventure is going to take place on or this area is an influencer of some sort. Naturally, being bonus mom, I feel inept at coming up with such a thing, but I thought that would be fun. I thought, since I'm on TikTok and I got a few followers and I'm hanging out a lot and whatever, that I would kind of shoot for that vibe. And so I want to be an influencer, female, possibly in her prime. I don't think I'm going for elderly. I think this gal's in her prime, and you can tell me what that is in the world in which we live. Basically human, I think. And her specialty, because she does have one, is hydroponics, which is crucial in a airship. Two reasons: making oxygen and keeping the people fed. And so that's going to be her field of expertise. And she's an influencer, and she probably loves to do tutorials and whatever the blog form would be, talking about her plants and her little seedlings and
right.
All of that. Interestingly enough, she has a little bird that sits on her shoulder, and this bird is crucial because it does the whole canary in the mine thing, that if the bird dies, obviously something's gone wrong with the oxygen. There's too much carbon dioxide or something in her hydroponic cell. So she's got a bird on her shoulder, a little birdie on her shoulder.
Yeah, very cool. And so in terms of game mechanics, a character like that would be an expert. So before we jump into Jacob's, Stars Without Number basically has 4 classes. Your character consists of attribute, class, background, and focuses, pretty much, and then equipment. So your classes, there's only 4, which is a huge difference from like other RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons and some of those, Pathfinder, and a lot of other systems where they really niche you in just on your class choice alone as to like what sort of archetype of character you're playing. In Stars Without Number, you have 4. They are warrior, so that is everything from like your Space Marine, Master Chief type character, to your sort of like character that grew up on a more primitive world and uses like bludgeoning weapons to like beat people to death type, you're sort of like barbarian type character, or everything in between. Anything that is a combat focused character. Your knife assassin is probably some kind of mixture, maybe between a warrior and an expert. But that's, those are like your combat class. And then you have your expert, which to me would fit everything else. Stars Without Number really kind of considers your like your character to have a profession as part of their background normally. And so that is going to include like if you're an expert, you're not like a rogue or a bard in some other system where you're amazing at a bunch of different stuff. It's like you really are like a highly trained professional at one or two things tops. But you're like, and the things are everything from like there's a skill called administer, like to be like you're really good at bureaucracy, or you could be really good at fixing things or picking locks or sneaking, or even something like connect, which is like how you would get people to help you find information. There's a lot of different skills. So that's an expert, and it's like you're really good at some sort of skill based thing. And then there's the psionic class, which is the psychic characters that have a bunch of different things they can pick. There's everything from like a biopsionic, which is good at like healing people or even probably like poisoning them. You could be more like a telekinetic or a telepathic or even like a precognitive. There's a bunch of different skills that they have. So, and then of course the last class, the fourth one, is called adventurer, and it's just a mix up of multiple things. If you have a character that doesn't fit easily into other things, like if you wanted to play a like Jedi type character, you'd pick a adventurer and be a mix between a psychic and a warrior kind of thing, right? So, but yeah, with all that having been said, Jacob, let's talk about your character concept. As I catch you while your mouth is full.
I'm just eating. I'm snacking. Hold on one second.
All right, Brennan Lee Mulligan. My main problem with playing TTRPGs is that the hole I narrate out of is where the food goes. I'm a little podling.
Yeah. So I have a couple ideas that I had based on what other characters were kind of pitched. So my first one that I kind of had was also probably going to be an expert, which is a shipbreaker, someone who, as their job, salvages old, destroyed, or defunct spaceships.
So you're
whether that's
Cal Kestis, basically, except maybe not psychic.
yeah. From very like cool. I imagine like like a space elevator and like low atmospheric orbit, something like that. Very proficient at like being in 0 Gs, probably with like the spacer background. Knows how to take a ship apart, but has been doing it so long, kind of an older person, that they also know how to put it back together just kind of intuitively through like, I know what this bit does because I've seen it blow up before.
Yeah.
Or I've like known the order to take the ship apart in. Because I've been doing this for 25 years.
Right.
So I think kind of like a laid back blue collar shipbreaker who is more concerned with kind of union, like a union man kind of setup,
Yeah.
Than the classic kind of space hero. But I also had what I think would probably be adventurer would probably be the better one for the second character, which is a xenogeologist who is also an investigative reporter.
Okay.
Into like using it to find like labor violations and things like that. Big gaps in people's trust. So a bit more of like I don't want to say like an Indiana Jones type, but like very academically minded, but also capable in a fight.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah. Cool.
I don't know which one of those I want to go with yet.
Yeah. Well, if you want, I can give you 2 sheets and you can make them both. If you feel up to it.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Let me put that in your journal for you. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Cool. And then what I'll probably do, and so that character would be like an expert warrior adventurer, or like warrior expert combo, or
yeah, I think the second one will be like an expert warrior combo. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Well, then what I'll do, because we don't have as many people as we might otherwise. We had some people drop out on us, which is okay. Life happens. But I will also play along with you guys, and I will make a psychic character, I think. along with you. So, just to sort of so that we can kind of talk through all of those decisions. So now that we have a bit of our idea of our characters, concepts, we've got to roll stats. So for this, it is a really like old school D&D method of rolling these things. And you basically roll 3d6s in order. Now, this says to do it in order, but I actually don't care if you do that. I think you can roll them and put them wherever you want is how I would run it. Because I think that'll make for better characters as far as I'm concerned. So, we should probably do it one at a time because there's not a way like in some of the other sheets. Like in the D&D 5e sheet, you can roll them and it like assigns them for you and stuff. In this one, if we all start rolling at once, the dice are going to get all crazy. So why don't we have Bonus Mom go ahead, and you're just going to do /R space 3d6, or use your dice roller to roll 3d6s, whatever you want to do.
Well, Pixel.
Yes, Bonus Mom.
You know how it is with Bonus Mom, don't you? That she never can manage to keep it all on the same page at the same time.
Because you maximize things you shouldn't maximize. Like you're...
Well, now I have the sheet. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Here, I've lost you all. Okay, here's chat. I'm in there. I've got... So I do what? I do /R
space 3d6. And you'll do that 6 times. So you might as well copy it, and then paste it a bunch of times.
Before I even, like, hit it?
No, you copy it before you hit it.
There it is.
Okay, and then you can just paste it into the chat bar 5 more times. Oh, nope, that's not right.
Okay. I didn't get it copied like I thought.
This is our join link for the Zoom call, so we're going to hide all this.
Sorry about that. Yeah, can you get rid of that for me? So, /R.
Holy shit, Bonus Mom. You really fucked that up, I have to say.
Come on, join the Zoom call.
Very borked. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Hang on. I'm just going to clear the chat log. Bloop.
Okay. That one roll was a 10.
That one roll was a 10. # leaked. We're going to get fucking hacked over here. No, we're not. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so we have 110. I'm going to put that in there. Boop, there's your 10. You can't really see it, guys. Okay. It's up at top, but...
/R space 3d6.
Yes.
Enter.
Okay, so you got a 5. Ooh, that's a bad one.
I don't think I copied it. /R space 15.
That's a 15. Ooh, that's a pretty good roll.
6. Oh.
1, 2, 5. Oh, 4. This is 4, so this will be 5.
12.
And I will say the stats work differently. They go from a -2 to a +2 modifier. So
and 7.
They're not quite the same as like D&D stats. Okay, Bonus Mom. So your stats are currently 10, 5, 15, 6, 12, 7. You can choose one of those to turn into a 15. Or, I'm sorry, a 14. You can replace one of them with a 14.
Replace one of them with the 14. I'm going to replace the 5 with a 14.
Okay, so you've got 10, 14, 6, 12, 7. There you go.
No, wait. You left out a 15 in there, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
10, 14, 15, 6, 12, 7.
14, 15, 6, 12, 7. There you go. Those are Bonus Mom's stats.
Okay.
So you're going to put those in your character, and then Jacob, if you want to start rolling now that we've got those locked down. And so to let you guys know how the stats break down, if you got a 3, which is the absolute worst roll you could possibly get, you would have a -2 modifier in that stat. Anything from 4 to 7 is a -1 modifier. Anything from 8 to 13 is a 0 modifier. 14 to 17 is a +1. and 18 is the highest you could roll, is a +2. So the stat like ranges don't go like if you had a 3 in D&D, that's like a -4 to your stat, right? So the ranges on the modifiers are much smaller.
So I
So.
basically have 2 -1s, 2 zeros, and 2 +1s.
Yeah, which is probably a pretty even set of stats.
All right, but I don't know where to put these stats. You said
Yeah. So we want to think about your character because the stat while the mods are different, the actual stats, like what they do, is pretty much the same as D&D. So you've got strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. So as a social media influencer, I'm going to bet that your best stat is charisma.
yes, I
And
would
then
think so.
probably intelligence and dexterity would be important for you as someone who like fixes a lot of things. I would think fixing things would be usually like an intelligence based uh you know skill. And then dexterity, it would be like intelligence to know how to fix stuff and dexterity in order to like manipulate little machine parts and shit like that. So I would think that's
Okay.
where you want to put your decent
Strength
stats.
is going to be 6. I'm going to depend on the kindness of strangers to lift all those heavy things.
Yeah.
And constitution is 7.
Okay, and then Jacob, you can also switch out one of your stats for a 14, because the game wants you to have at least one thing that your character has a positive to. So that
Yeah, I was about to say, but I have no positives and a
3
negative.
negatives. Oof.
Yeah, 3 negatives. So yikes. Not the dice were not on my side today. I'm going to change out that 6 for the 14.
Very
so
good.
instead I have a 7. I have 2 7s, a 9, 10, a 12, and a 14.
Which is, a little worse than an average set of rolls, but probably mostly average. Well, no, you've got 2 negatives, 1 positive, and 3 in the middle. Right?
It's not terrible.
So yeah, could be worse, could be better. Okay, so how'd you come down on the rest of this stuff, Bonus Mom?
My intelligence, let's see, my charisma is 15.
Okay.
My intelligence is 14.
Okay.
My dexterity is 12.
Okay.
My wisdom is 10. My strength is 6. Oh, constitution 7.
Okay. Okay, very cool. So let's talk about Jacob's character. So and that was one of your characters. And I guess we'll do them maybe separately, or you can do them both at the same time.
Yeah, I'll say that this is the shipbreaker.
Okay. So where do you think you're putting stuff? In the meantime, I'm
kind of caught because I feel like as this being kind of a blue collar guy, I feel like the work itself is kind of backbreaking. So some physical strength is necessary, but also that's very technical. So I think intelligence is important here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of my, I'm going to do 7 in dexterity and 7 in charisma. He's not very personable. I'm going to put my 9 into wisdom. And I'm going to put my 10 into strength. And then I'm going to do 12 in constitution and 14 in intelligence.
Very cool. Okay, well, I went ahead and rolled for my psychic, and I rolled great. Sorry. I got 15, 14, 10, 9, 8, 7. So I'm going to replace my 7 with a 14. So I've got 15, 14, 14, 10, 9, 8. So I've got only positive and medium modifiers. I'm so sorry, guys. The dice will do what they will. Now, the thing that I got to decide, friends, is I have to decide what kind of psychic I want to be. So that might as well, I'm not going to assign these yet. Because going to character creation, the next thing it wants us to do is pick a background. What background did you guys think of? I think we might have talked about yours, bonus on. Or do you guys want me to like read through some of these? I don't know how in depth anyone has gotten with the different rules of this
Is
system.
there a
So
place where backgrounds are written down, we can look at them, or you just know from the rules?
here, I'll just post them for you. Nope, that's not right.
If you have the rule book up, they start on page 9.
Yeah, I don't think she is, but that's fine. I have posted them in the chat. The options are barbarian, clergy, courtesan, criminal, entertainer, merchant, noble, official, peasant, pilot, politician, scholar, soldier, spacer, thug, vagabond, and worker. So, remembering what we've talked about, Bonus Mom, I would say either entertainer or official would make sense, because you do have some, like everybody in your world does, you have some relation to the Ace Corp, the
Well, this
Alton
I can
Simon
tell you. My
Simon Steel
job
Corporation.
came first. Okay.
Okay.
My job, the hydroponics came first.
Okay.
Okay. And then the entertainer was an offshoot
Yeah.
of that. I started giving people hints on how to make, like, oh, so you have a lower, you have like I would be someone who could help Jacob's character if he is actually putting a ship together out of all of his bits and pieces, and
Yeah.
he would call on somebody like me to help him set up a hydroponic system that would work with what he has and give him the most results. So that would have all come first. So if
you
you're going by
could
what
be a
came first,
worker then, was what that sounds like to me, actually.
okay, and I was very good at that and got a lot of credit for really knowing my stuff about hydroponics. And in the scheme, I mean, that's very important. It's very important on a spaceship. It's very important to the world that we're in. And there's actually a hierarchy of influencers, but also officials who are in charge of what they're in charge of, to be sure that hydroponics on ships are maintained and that the regulations are followed. Else you're going to get 100 people in space sleep out so many light years, and it's all going to fail, because of the hydroponics, and everybody's going to die. So
yeah,
I think there's like probably somebody or a group of people that are in charge. What would it be, sector wise or something? And I have my eye on the top a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so in terms of the world building that we've done, so the sector is a big group of stars. There's about 30 stars that are easily jump to a bowl. I mean, it would take a month to jump across the whole system. Even if you didn't stop, you just boom, 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 boom. It would still take you like a month, because it takes 6 days to go from one hex to another. You guys are in a somewhat isolated, the adventure will take place in a somewhat isolated part of the sector. We've broken the sector up into clusters. So there are 4 main clusters. The northeast cluster is the Ace cluster, which is controlled by the ASE Corporation, or Ace Corp, whose homeworld is on Asteria, which is this sort of central planet of this cluster. Just to show you guys the full map, the tentative name of this whole place is Pixelaris Beta, which I'm probably going to change. But this is the Ace cluster in the top right. And we have the Shang cluster in the middle. It's kind of just these 2 stars, but they're central to everything. They're like the hub of all of the different places. We have the Taproot cluster in the far west part of the sector, and the south central is the Bapton cluster. So there's a lot of different stuff going on in these different worlds. But everything that we do in like the starting zone is going to be in the Ace cluster. So that is where Bonus Mom's character is going to be from. It would be a place that it makes sense, Jacob, for your character to be from. One of these planets, maybe not necessarily Asteria, but one of the other ones if you want. In this area, there are some options. But what did you think about for... And I guess we decided worker would be the best, given that like your background, Bonus Mom, is kind of in the work being more important than the social media side of it. So, but what did you think about the list, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm caught between 3, and it kind of depends on how the setting is. So I guess this is kind of more on your end here of like how the world is built. For like the ones that I'm caught between are spacer, technician, or worker.
Okay.
Because I feel like all of three of those kind of fit, but it depends on
Yeah.
the intricacies of what kind of work the ship breaker does.
Sure.
So if it's, what do you think the shipyard, or what do the shipyards look like in your setting here? Are they like
Yeah.
kind of out in low Earth orbit so they can
Mhm.
be easily dismantled and like repurposed, or is it like Star Wars where the shipyards are just like a graveyard of salvage that people just kind of go through and cut up?
Yeah, so honestly, I would think there are places where all of that happens. The only place that we really put a ship nursery that we like had hard info about was in one of the planets in the Bapton cluster, um, which was in the Dergoose system on the planet La Evathos has a major space yard in it. Um, So it is I think the way we thought of it was the planet is like highly irradiated, um, and that the space yard stuff happened in orbit, and then they used the planet as kind of a junkyard at the same time. It was like anything that did got discarded, they just like drop it into the planet. But that's not the only place in the sector. Like every place would have shipyards. That's just the only one that we have like a major space yard. Um, so the anyway, what the tag says is most worlds of tech level 4 or greater have the necessary tech and orbital facilities to build spike drives and starships. So the setting kind of assumes that ships are built in orbit for the most part. This world is blessed with a major space yard facility, either inherited from before the silence or painstakingly constructed recently. It can even build capital class hulls and do so more cheaply than its neighbors. So that is a shipyard that is owned by the Starspike Manufacturing and Robotic Company, um, which is 6, 12, 18, 20. It's just about a month's travel away from the Ace cluster. Um, but the Ace cluster would have let's see, their Asteria is a tech level 4. I think it might be Asteria and Holger are both tech level 4 planets. Um, and Holger's in the Velo system, and Asteria is in the Alton system. So, oh, did I might have put that wrong on your. Hang on, guys. Oh yeah, this is not the Asteria system. It's the Alton system, and Asteria is a planet on it. Anyway, I screwed up my map. It's fine. But yeah, either one of those places would have a ship if you were interested in being like from one of those places. Um, so in terms of like answering your question there, uh, it sounds like most of this salvage would be space station related, and
Cool.
then they probably either just dump the stuff into orbit and let it fall to a planet that's kind of a junk planet, or you know, incinerate it or something. So
Cool. Then yeah, I think spacer makes more sense. I kind of I like the idea of uh he's more comfortable on a ship than he is on a planet. Like he prefers being in orbit kind of setup.
okay.
So I think spacer works.
I
And then
funky.
for where he's from, I think being from the Ace cluster makes sense. So you
Okay.
said the Alton system would be.
Yeah, so the Ace cluster is all of these systems. There's Azir, Saleda, Alton is instead of Asteria there. Asteria is the main planet of that system. Ace Gate and Velo. Of those, the only ones with planets that would have a technology level high enough to have a space, to have a space yard would be Asteria in the Alton system, which is that central system there, and Velo, which is the bottom right system. The Velo system has a is also the one with the Psionic Academy in it. Its main thing is Holger. Um, and it has a psionics academy and a perimeter agency. The Asteria is like the head of Ace Corp. Um, the thing about Asteria is the world building for it is kind of interesting. Every citizen of Asteria basically, like, instead of having stocks of like a stock exchange for companies, they have a stock exchange for like people who have an individual brand. So like every person on Asteria is like a social media influencer for whatever the hell it is that they do. And some of them are better at it than others. And it's all about, and like the main export of Asteria is media. So they put out tons of like YouTube tutorials about how to do sci-fi space shit and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or like lifestyle. It's like, imagine a planet that looks like an Apple store and everyone in it is like a fitness Instagram model or like a, you know, unboxing video creator, but they all have jobs, but their jobs are all tied up and, you know, and they have like value, like their personal value and station in society is determined by their effectiveness at social media content creation and influencing, right? So that's the Asteria planet, and that's where Bonus Mom's character is from. If that sounds like something you want your character to be part of, there, you know, the other thing about it that like I won't go into too much detail of is that they kind of keep all of the like problems, all of the labor and uncomfortable crap and that it would take to maintain that level of lifestyle for all those people on that planet. They like hide elsewhere. And there is like a mining facility in an asteroid belt in that same system called the Iman Fracture, which does have like some more like blue collar type people in it who are not like citizens and therefore not involved in that like influencing culture. So if you're not interested in that though, I would say maybe it would make more sense to be from Velo and from the Holger planet with the Psionic Academy on it. Because not everybody on that planet is psionic, and it would have its own like ship and salvage yard there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think either being from the planet with the Psionic Academy or being from the you said Iman Fracture, that's what it's.
Yeah, the Iman Fracture is an asteroid belt that is in the same system as the Asteria planet. And it but I don't know if there would be a shipyard at the Iman Fracture. I feel like there would be a shipyard at Asteria, but I don't know. Now, but although if you're like an asteroid belt mining thing would kind of require a shipbreaker. Maybe like you used to work in a, you know, in another shipyard, but now you're working here. Like you know.
Yeah, he could be from like initially from the what was the other cluster that you
yeah,
said?
the other cluster was the Bapton cluster. It's Baptyn, the Bapton cluster. There was a planet called Der Goose. I don't know if this is actually how you'd pronounce this, but that's the system, and the planet would be La Evathos. And there is a space yard on that planet which does not have a name. I guess it would just be the La Evathos space yard.
Yeah, I think it's possible that he could be from there, and then there has been some kind of sequence of events that has brought him to the Ace cluster. Maybe like he lost his job or something, mass layoffs, something like that.
Yeah.
And now he's working for the mines, doing like a less meaningful job than he used to have, at least personally to him.
Cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that would lead you probably to a spacer background, then I would think, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. I think for my psionics, I want to build a precog. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to make my character a precognitive. And this is just a sample character, so it doesn't really matter. And so for precognition, I would think This is going to be a character with high intelligence and wisdom. So I rolled 15, 14, 14. So they're going to have high intelligence is 15, wisdom is 14. No, I probably want to switch that. Wisdom is 15, intelligence is 14. It doesn't really matter. It's the same mod either way. I'm going to give them a 14 constitution. And then I'm going to give them a 9 dexterity and an 8 strength. Okay. And then their background is going to be... Oh, you know what else would be a choice for you, Bonus Mom, that I didn't think of? Would be a technician instead of a worker.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds more posh.
It sounds more like the right thing. And then for my person, I'm going to make them...
Okay.
Precognitive. I want to make them clergy. Or maybe a noble or an official.
Where do I write that?
Okay, your background is right under the name at the top of the sheet. Yep. And I think yeah, you write it in. Let's see. Yeah, let's make this person a noble that can see the future. Okay, cool. So let's talk about these backgrounds then. From your background, you're going to get a couple of skills or some growth options. You have 2 different options in how you do this. One option is that you can choose, so from your background, you get a free skill. So Bonus Mom, if we're doing technician for you, your free skill is fix. So what you do is you go to your skills list, which is just under your stats on the right, and where it says -1 in the second little box, you would click that up to say 0. So the way the skills work...
I see skills. Wait a minute. So which skills are you telling me?
So you get a free skill to start with, which is fix. That is going to be your, like, repair, mechanic, muck around with mechanical hydroponic stuff skill. You get that, you click it up to a 0.
Did it.
Okay. Basically the way skills work in this game is that anything that you're not trained in, you have a -1 modifier to using, regardless of whatever your stats are. And then when you're trained in it, you get a 0, and you can get up to like a +1 if you spend more points on it, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, okay, and then let's do Jacob. For your character, we went with Spacer. Your free skill is also fix. So, which kind of makes sense the way you guys are doing that. Now, you both have to decide, you don't have to decide the same thing, if you want to, you can either pick 2 skills from the learning table, or you can make 3 random rolls divided between the growth and learning tables for your class or your background. So, Bonus Mom, essentially there's 2 tables. There's one called growth and one called learning. The growth table has 6 things on it. It's a D6 table. If you roll like 1 through 4, you get numerical bumps to your stats, and if you roll 5 or 6, you get a skill. The learning table is all skills, and the skills are going to be things that are like relevant to your character. So you want to basically choose it's kind of a choice between, do I want to have specific control over what skills I get, or do I want to have the possibility of maybe getting some bonus statistics to like your con or your dexterity or whatever. And the same thing for you, Jacob, except it's just that the skills on your thing are different skills, right?
Okay. So now the growth table is not something I'm looking at. You're telling me to choose between 2 things, and then it's good. Okay.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that you don't have it in front of you. But
so I am either going to roll 3 D6s.
No.
Okay.
Because the difference is, the growth table is a D6 table and the learning table is a D8 table. And you can choose to say, I want to roll all 3 of my skills on the growth table, or I want to roll all 3 on the learning table, or I want to roll 2 growth and 1 learning, or 1 learning and 2 growth. You like split up your 3 rolls between those 2 tables, depending on if you want to have more chances at stat bumps or more chances at learning skills.
I want 1 stat bump.
Okay. And 2 skills. So and it's not a guarantee that you're going to.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I need to write down before I say that, because it's not enough to just raise 1. There's no use to raise a stat unless I get it to another place.
Sure. So let me just see if I can't post this thing in here for you. So this is the growth table. 1 + 1 any stat. 2 + 2 to a physical stat. 3 + 2 to a mental stat. 4 is +2.
Okay, but that was not actually what I was trying to ascertain.
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure. Sorry. But what? So finish your thing though.
My question was, at what point do I go from a -1 to a 0 and to a 1?
Right. The thing I wanted to point out was that these are the breakdowns of what the possible stats you can get. And then that will help us know where the breakdowns of when the stats flip over are. So you needed both parts of that information. So,
okay, I don't see a 5 if I roll a 5 in there.
5 is right next to my name. You get the connect
there
skill.
It is. Okay.
Connect is a skill. Okay, so you get a modifier anytime you raise a stat from 7 to 8, it goes from -1 to 0, or from 13 to 14, it goes from 0 to +1, or if you get something from all the way up to 18, it goes up to a +2. So the only breakpoints that matter are 7 to 8 gets rid of a negative modifier for you, and 13 to 14 gives you a positive modifier. Anything else in the middle?
Okay, well, it was Constitution. I was wondering if I could get it off of a -1 because I have a 7 in Constitution, and I thought that was a breaking point. So that's why I wanted 1 chance to get a better number.
Yeah, if you roll a d6 and get a 2, which you have like a 15% chance of getting, then you could bump your Constitution up. Otherwise, you'll end up with +1 to any stat, possibly +2 to some mental stats or some skills. Basically.
Then that's not that great, is it? That's really a tough chance. I literally have to roll a 2.
Yeah, to get the thing you want there.
Okay, forget it. I'll go for the 3 other things.
Okay. So then you're gonna, I guess, go to Technician and just roll a d8 3 times.
What do you mean go to Technician?
I'm sorry, you don't have the table. I'm going to go to Technician, and you just roll a d8 3 times.
Okay, so that is \r space 3d8.
Yes. And, okay, 1, 3, and 6. Okay, great. So
wait,
1...
where did... Oh, there it is.
I rolled it in chat.
Okay, I see it now. It was gone.
So with a 1, you get a +1 to administer. So it goes up to 0. With 3, you get +1 to the exert skill, which is kind of like athletics.
+1 to exert.
Yeah, and 6, you get +1 to know, which when I say +1, you'll tick them up from a -1 to a 0 in each of these spots.
Okay, what was the third thing?
To know, which is like knowledge or...
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about you, Jacob. You have the spacer background. What would you like to do with your rolls? Or would you just like to pick?
Yeah, I think I would like to do 2 growth and 1 learning, if I can do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool.
So that's 2 d6s and 1 d8.
2d6, 1d8. Gotcha. 2d6. That is a
6 and a 5.
6 and a 5. Oh my god! I wanted the skill, or I want the stats.
Oops.
Rip. Okay. Well, still,
the dice have been cruel to you today.
The dice do not want me to have this character. They want him to suffer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I just add 1 to those. Is that what it is?
So yeah, for the first level, anytime you get one level in a skill that you don't have, it ticks from -1 to 0.
Okay, so exert goes to 0, and then I pick another skill.
Pick another skill. Also, it's worth noting that at level 1, you basically can't get higher than a +1 in any skill, except for you guys as far as being experts. Although I'm not sure about an adventure expert. I think pure experts can get something up to +2 at level 1. But
Cool.
anyway.
Well, then
And then you get 1 on the learning tree.
Yeah, for the any skill, I'm going to do 1 in pilot.
Very cool. Love that.
And then I'm going to roll a D8 for the learning.
Excellent.
What have I learned?
Ooh, a lot.
I've learned how to talk.
Oh boy.
Even though I have -1 charisma.
Fun.
I've learned how to negotiate union contracts.
There
somehow.
you go. Love that. Probably
cool.
why you got fired.
Yeah. I thought that I could talk. Turns out they did not like what I had to say.
And I am gonna roll 1 growth and 2 learning for mine. I got a 6, a 4, and a 3. So on the noble, 6 is any skill. That does not help me at all. On the other one, 4 and 3 are connect and know, which that's not too bad. So know and connect. I get 1 more of any skill. Harumph, harumph. I think we're gonna maybe make notice one of her skills. It's a precognitive. I would think notice would be the kind of thing you'd want for a precognitive. Okay, cool. That is the background stuff. Next are our character classes. So we're going to start with yours, Bonus Mom. So.
And that's across from my name where it says Bonus Mom sheet. And then level and then class.
Yes, right. Yep. So it's got your name, which is currently in there just as Bonus Mom sheet, and then level, and where it says class, it should, if you click in there like twice, it'll give you like a drop down menu, and you just click expert.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Now what it will give you, if you scroll down a little bit to foci, you'll see it gives you an ability to begin with, it, which is once per scene you can reroll a failed skill check, basically. And it says some other stuff.
Foci?
Yeah, so under, you've got your name, keep scrolling down, you'll see core statistics, keep scrolling down, you'll see weapons, and then you'll see a little gray box that says foci.
Okay, there it is.
Now,
and that popped in there because of expert?
Yes. So Jacob, it doesn't have the adventurer class in here. You'll have to type it in. We'll have to do your stuff manually. So,
that's cool because I'm doing the expert right now. So I'll do the.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Because I'm doing the shipbreaker.
Oh, the shipbreaker's the expert. Cool. So that's easy.
Yeah.
Great.
If it would be faster, I can do both of. Like I can just roll the adventurer stuff too and like do them side by side. If that would be easier.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you also can do it after the fact if you want. I'm cool with any of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the expert stuff. Let's talk about that. You gain a free level in a non-combat related focus related to your background. Most concepts will take specialist, although you could take diplomat, starfarer, healer, or some other focus. You may not take a combat focus with this perk. So now we have to go talk about foci. I'm going to post the list. It's a big list. They recommend the specialist focus, which will make your expert feel like it's really good at the thing it's supposed to be good at, basically, which you guys are both supposed to be good at, like the skills of like fixing and maintaining stuff. But you can pick anything off this list as long as it's not combat related. So I'm going to start reading the specialist one, but let me know if there's any others you have questions about. I know it's a huge list, Bonus Mom. You're not going to have to know.
Oh, no, I think specialist for me all the way.
Yeah. So specialist, you are remarkably talented at a particular skill. Whether a marvelous cat burglar, a world-famous athlete, a brilliant engineer, or some other savant, your expertise is extremely reliable. You may take this focus more than once for different skills. Level 1. Gain a non-combat, non-psychic skill as a bonus. Roll 3d6 and drop the lowest die for all skill checks with this skill. So let's talk about skills real quick, friends. What this means is Stars Without Number is a 2d6 skill system. It uses d20s for combat for things like attack rolls and saving throws, but in order to do a skill check, you roll 2d6s, which means that your success DCs are quite different in this game. So under what systems, skill checks. So an easy skill check would have like a 6 as its roll. Anything easier than a 6, and you really shouldn't have to roll. So a 6 difficulty is a relatively simple task that is more than the PC would usually be expected to manage in their regular background. So that's going to be something like, for you guys that are experts, you're like, you shouldn't almost ever fail a DC 6 check, right? A DC 8 is a significant challenge to a competent professional that they'd still succeed at more often than not. A 10 is something too difficult to be expected of anyone but a skilled expert, and even they might fail. 12, only a true master could be expected to carry this off with any degree of reliability. And 14 plus, only a true master has any chance of achieving this, and they will still probably fail. So if you think about the stat differential on 2d6s, right? You roll 2d6s and you don't add anything, the average roll you're going to get is usually a 6, right? An 8 is like a little bit harder, but if you've got modifiers to your stat, you're more often than not going to hit it, right? If it's like a 10, getting a 10 on 2d6 is pretty tough, right? You'd have to have significant bonuses. And then higher than that gets to be kind of bonkers. So with the expert thing, what this is saying is if you take that, specialist focus, on one of your skills, you can roll 3d6s and take the higher 2, which is kind of like having advantage almost, right? So if you took that in something like fix, you would be extremely good at like fixing and maintaining stuff. Or if you took something, so it's up to you guys what you want to do there, but I would say for Bonus Mom, for what you've just told me about your character, that probably makes the most sense to me.
Specialist
is to take specialist and put it in your fix skill.
Okay.
Because that's the thing that's most related to what you want to be good at.
Does that raise my fix skill to?
Yes. So it raises your fix skill to +1. And it's the little box next to fix that says 2D. If you click down, you can click and it gives you a drop down menu, and you would say 3d6. And that is the
okay. Gotcha.
The other thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then under foci, you'll see a little box that says choose focus. It brings you a big drop down menu with the list of all these things. You would choose specialist.
Okay, I got it.
And then you'll hit add, which is next to it. Okay. But let's talk about you, Jacob.
Yeah. I'm caught between either specialist, because I feel like it would make sense for his job.
Mm-hmm.
But also I'm kind of thinking Starfarer, because this guy's a spacer. He hit most of his life in space, probably knows like spaceships like the back of his hand. I think it would make sense that he knows how to run a spike drive and do spike drills pretty well. I think he spent quite a bit of time doing that.
Very cool.
So I'm caught between either taking specialist and I guess also doing, if not fix, then like exert, just like the physical force aspect of it, or going Starfarer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of a question of, if you pick Starfarer, you probably are the pilot for the group.
Yeah.
Which would make sense if you like ended up having to like learn about that and stuff. You automatically succeed spike related piloting checks of 10 or less, which is crazy good. And it's like very narrow, but a really good ability. So I mean that either one of those definitely does make sense to me.
Yeah, I think Starfarer is what I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to try and go for like the pilot.
Yeah, I think that totally works. Okay. Well, and then so that's your.
Okay, Pixel. Before you leave me totally, I'm not sure I did this right under
Okay.
the foci thing. So could you check?
Yeah, let's go take a
Foci,
look.
I drop downs and I pick specialist,
Uh-huh.
and then I hit add, and then I'm looking at one thing that said focus or something. Am I supposed to type fix in there?
Um, okay, so no, the add, there's two add buttons. There's an add button with a plus next to it, plus add, and there's
Okay,
an add
don't do
button
that.
next to specialist, like
You
across
wanted the
from it.
one on the far right.
Yeah, if you hit the one
Okay.
below, it adds it's like adding
Yeah.
another.
Yeah. And I see I did it and I didn't understand. I
Yeah.
did okay. So
So,
okay. So
um,
does this give me something? This thing that I wrote in then, that's where I get to roll the
it
3d6s.
Yeah, so what specialist gives you, it gave you a point in your skill, which we already did. That's why your fix should
Yep.
now be at a plus
Yep.
one. And then it
Yep.
changed the 2D next to fix to a 3D, which means you'll
Okay.
roll 3d6s
Yep.
for fix.
And I did. Okay.
So, okay,
We're
cool.
good. Now I understand.
And that's basically what you get from your expert class. Um, you do have an ability, you can re-roll a failed skill check once per scene. So like a combat would be a scene, a role play would be a scene. So, scenes are a little flexible in this system, but it's just to say, once per whatever time unit kind of makes sense. Narratively, you can basically re-roll a skill check, and then when you advance an experience level, you gain a bonus skill point that can be spent on non-combat, non-psychic skills. You do get some hit points. So, if you would roll each one of you roll 1d6 and add your Constitution modifier, or subtract your Constitution modifier, as the case may be. You cannot get less than 1. So,
Okay, roll a d6.
oh God, Jacob, the dice want you to die, brother.
I really want to play this character. Oh no.
Well, I got a 2.
And
Good
you have a
God,
minus
I
1
had
con,
2.
so now you have a 1.
We both
So I
have
have a
one
hit
hit point.
Whew. This is
Between the two of us,
This
we
is a
have
very
2 hit
brutal
points.
system. Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Well, yeah, you're probably going to roll a 6. That's why
Probably,
you
yeah.
say it's fine. You
Okay, so
dirtbag.
psychic, I can learn psychic skills. Pick any 2 psychic skills as a bonus. My psychic skills, where do they live? Okay, we are gonna take precognition, and I think we're gonna pick precognition and telepathy. And no, we're gonna put them both in precog. And then I get to add a precognitive psychic focus, a psychic technique. Let's see. Precognition, level 0. Okay. Intuitive response is an instant action. You can commit effort to roll initiative, and you can, sense the need. Vague premonition, particular object would be, okay. Retroactively declare they belong to long-term reflection.
I mean, that means if we get hit, Jacob, we're goners.
We're dead
They even
instantly.
hit
Well,
us.
no, if you basically you are downed, but not instantly dead.
Oh, I
Okay,
feel so
that's
much
comforting.
better. Just maimed.
I guess we'll take
Well,
terminal reflection.
I think the hope is that our experts don't get into a fight. We leave that to whoever our warrior is.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be growing foxglove in my hydroponics as self-defense.
Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else I get from being a psychic? You have an effort score, which I think it calculates for me. Yes, I have an effort score of 3. Okay. Hit points and attack bonus. Oh, also, you guys both have +0 for your attack bonus.
Great.
Well, sure.
And so do I.
Of course.
And I rolled 4 hit points.
Okay, where is attack bonus?
Attack bonus is where your hit points are, but on like the bottom right. Like the very last.
Okay, well,
thing.
I haven't found hit points yet. So what do I know?
Hit points are at the top. It's like your name, your background, and then core statistics. Hit points is like the first thing.
Oh, and I have 1. And my attack bonus is 0?
Attack bonus is 0. Okay. So, looking at our character creation, we have given you attributes and modifiers. We've picked backgrounds. We've done skills from the background. We've done classes. And then you each get a focus of your choice at level 1. So everybody gets a free focus in addition to the specialist that you already picked. So I guess you could put specialist on top of what
Okay.
you already have, right? So it says, wait, choose your foci representing the side talents of your hero. You can pick one level of focus of your choice. Characters with expert or partial expert get one level non-combat in addition to this. Yes, so you guys both get an extra focus.
So do we hit, is that where we hit the plus add?
Yes.
Okay.
And then yeah, so we have some options that could be good. There is the Tinker skill that might be good for Bonus Mom. There is, you can take Specialist again, I think, and get a second level
Tinker.
of it.
No, I saw Tinker.
You could take Connected, which you're gifted at making friends and forging ties with people around you. You could take let's see. You take Healer, which is like not like magic healing, but it's like a medic. Authority kind of makes you like people want to listen to you type of thing. But Tinker, if you're interested in that, what it does, you have a natural knack for modifying and improving equipment as given in rules on page 90. You gain an additional level of fix as a bonus skill. Your maintenance score is doubled, allowing you to maintain twice as many modifications. Both ship and gear mods cost only half their usual price in credits, though pre-tech salvage requirements stay the same. And I guess I need to pick a focus for
Can you tell me what Connected says?
Can I tell you what Connected does? Connected says you are remarkably gifted at making friends and forging ties with the people around you. Wherever you go, you always seem to know somebody useful to your ends. You gain Connect as a bonus skill. If you spend at least a week in a not entirely hostile location, you'll have built a web of contacts willing to do favors for you that are no more than mildly illegal. You can call on one favor per game day, and the GM decides how far they'll go for you.
You know, for reasons, Pixel, I almost think Connected instead of Tinker. I really
agree.
do. Okay.
What about you, Jacob?
So is all I have to do type it in?
Yeah. So if you choose focus, you can scroll to Connected and hit the not plus add but the other add button.
Yeah, I'm caught between specialist and tinker. But also me and Bonus Mom are both making maintenance centric characters.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I
mean, you could also take specialist and throw it in pilot.
Well, then my pilot would be 2. Am I allowed to have a pilot of 2?
Oh, no, you're not. How did you? Yeah, no, you're not.
Because I get a bonus skill for pilot from Starfarer.
Right, but and was it all? Did you get pilot from your background?
It was
as well?
Yeah. My background, my any skill was pilot.
Was pilot? Okay, yeah. So no. Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I think experts can get it to +2. Let's take a look real quick. Because I think they're the only ones that are allowed to.
I can just be like an ace pilot if need. Like that's fine with me. I'll take Star Captain. Oh. Surprise!
Yeah. Okay, so in their chosen field, however, the expert is exceptionally gifted. Aside from the free focus that all PCs get, an expert can choose an additional level in a non-combat focus. They can spend both of these levels on the same focus if they wish, starting the game with level 2 in that particular knack. So yeah, you can get up to a +2 at level 1.
Okay.
If you wish. But, hey. But also I think your background would make sense if you spread it out even more, so...
Yeah, because I feel like he's kind of a a multi-skilled
Yeah.
person, which is not indicated by his actual stats, which is kind of like he's a jack of no trades.
Yeah.
No. Pixel, I'm screwing up here when you get back.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I can help you. What's going on?
Well, I don't know how to get connected over there. I
Okay.
did something and something turned red and I don't know.
It's fine. I'll do it for you. Oh, wait,
Thank
that's
you.
not.
I don't know how I did that. You said type it
Yeah,
in there and I did. And then
so instead of the plus add, if you just do the same thing at the top again, where it's that like you pick out the focus and
Oh,
then you click add
yeah.
on the right, it'll just stack them.
You're right. I gotcha.
I think the plus add is for adding custom.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we picked
connected.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
guess
Yep. You might have to refresh your seat, Bonus Mom, but we got you there.
I think I'm gonna go specialist, and yeah, I think pilot is gonna be
Very cool.
his proficiency. Turns out he's better at flying ships than taking them apart.
Oh, you did great for me. Thank you.
Let's see. I'm gonna make a dude here who is telepath. Yeah, I'm gonna make them telepathic as well. And they don't get a special thing with that because they're not level 1, just level 0. Okay, so that is our focuses. So we got our skill, we got our attributes, we got our backgrounds, which gave us some skills. We put our classes together, which gave us some focuses and some skills. And then now you can pick one non-psychic. You can get one more skill. One more non-psychic skill of your choice to reflect your hero's interests, natural hobbies, or expertise, or other personal focuses. So you just get one free skill for your hobbies, I guess. Which this person, I'm going to give them... leave them administer, I think.
I'll give mine work. He's a manual laborer. I think it makes sense that he's got a little bit of knack for getting a job done.
Okay.
I picked talk.
Okay.
And then I happened to glance over and see perform. I'm gonna go with talk.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with talk.
So that's pretty much it. The last little bit that we have here is equipment packages. You would pick something that kind of makes sense for your characters. The lists of packages are Barbarian, Blade, which is kind of like a warrior package, Thief, Hacker, Gunslinger, Soldier, Scout, Medic, Civilian, or Technician. I would think Technician makes sense for Bonus Mom's character, but...
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Technician makes sense for both of us.
Yeah, and where do we put that?
So, what you do, I'll walk you through it. You'll get a weapon, which goes into your weapons, which are above your foci on your sheet.
Okay, choose a weapon.
And you get a laser pistol.
Okay.
And then you're going to scroll down to equipment, which is underneath of your psychic stuff, which you don't actually have.
Yeah. Equipment. It's under gear, right?
Yep. You're going to get an armored undersuit, which on the where it says armor AC 10 and choose armor, you click that and you should find armored undersuit on there. And you click that and hit add.
Armored undersuit? Yeah, there it is.
You click that, you hit add, and then you check the box next to it and it'll equip it, basically.
Okay.
Um, and then you are gonna get, let's see, a monoblade knife, which is gonna go actually, sorry, back up into your weapons. Except this one's kind of weird. There's not actually a thing in here for monoblade knife. So you are gonna want to put a small primitive weapon or a small advanced weapon.
So I leave laser pistol
Yep.
there.
And then you click the drop down menu again and you pick a small advanced weapon and add it. And then once it's in there, you can just change the name to monoblade knife.
Okay, do I have both of them in there? See, now I'm only seeing the one. Maybe I didn't hit add.
You probably didn't hit add.
The first one was
A
laser,
laser
pistol add. Okay, there it is. And then I'm going to rename this small advanced weapon. What is it you want it to be?
Monoblade knife is what it's called. I don't know why it's different here than it is in the sheet, but you know, I have charge of that.
Okay.
You get a post tech toolkit, which you'll put down under equipment. So near where armor was, but to the left, there's like an equipment
Choose gear.
section. Yeah, and you
what?
want post tech toolkit.
All the way at the bottom, it's toolkit
Yep.
/ post tech.
Yep, there it is.
Yep. See it. And hit add. Got to
Hit add.
remember to hit add. Okay.
You get 6 units of spare parts. So you'll go to click it. I think spare parts is in there. And then you'll just hit add. And once you've hit add, there's like a number next to it. And you can bump that up to 6. Yeah.
Spare parts. Hit add. And bump it up to 6 on the far left-hand side.
That is correct. And then you get, I think they're called power cells type A. Yeah, power cells type A. You get 4 of those.
Okay.
You get a backpack.
Okay. Oh, God, Pixel, I'm learning how to do this. Will it be not awful if I learn how to make this kind of character before I do a D&D character?
You get a data slab.
Data slab. Okay.
And you get a meta tool.
Okay.
And you get 200 credits, and your credits are way back up on the top near your stats. You have a thing that says resources.
Yes.
You have 200 credits.
There is also credits right on that same line that equipment is on. You have credits, and then you also have credits owed, which is fun. That there's a little spot for your debt.
Okay. So I've got my psychic. I just gave them a civilian kit. I don't think they've got like a bunch of stuff. They're like a precognitive and a telepath. I don't think they're doing a bunch of crazy shit yet. Which, you know, I'm never gonna play this character, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for character creation, guys.
Wow. To me, that was easier. I mean, yes, I fumbled around all over the sheet because I've never
Yeah.
seen it before, but that was easier. It's
Yeah,
just
it doesn't have
horrifying that I
quite as
have.
many moving parts as like a D&D character where you're picking spells and weapons and it's pretty straightforward. Um so for those who were watching at home, I know that that was a lot of kind of going through that specifically. But it's not that tough of a process, I don't think.
Not
You
to
kind of roll your
mention,
attributes, you pick a background, you pick some skills, um, choose your class, you choose your focuses, and then you get an extra skill and you pick your equipment and like roll your hit points and stuff. Um, and then, um, and if you're using something like Roll20 or whatever, it does a lot of the math for you. Like there's extra steps like calculate your saving throws and calculate your damage done by your weapons. And it's like, well, the sheet did that for me. And then the last thing is it wants us to pick a name and a goal. And the goals are kind of the XP in this game is not based on your like killing monsters and bad guys and stuff necessarily. Your characters should have goals of like what they're trying to accomplish, and your XP is slightly based on accomplishing your goals. And you level up once you get like 3 XP. So, um, I'm trying to see if it lists like uh if it gives you like a list of example goals that your character might have. I don't think it does. Okay, character advancement goals. It does sort of give us some. Some games' success might lie in plundering alien hordes or clawing wealth from the hands of desperate patrons. Other games might reward PC for achieving personal goals, whether or not there was any money in it. Some might award XP only for spending credits. It kind of really leaves it up to the GM in a lot of ways. But having goals, whether or not you get XP for it, certainly gives you like story related, motivations for your characters. So, um, think, um, and I think they should be like specific things. I also don't know where you would note your goal.
it's down at the very bottom under miscellaneous.
Ah, yeah, goals. Add. Okay.
So these are personal goals. Like
Yeah.
I'm not looking at a list of things.
No, it didn't. It didn't give us any lists for this. One of the few things that it hasn't given us hard lists for, or even really good examples. It's just like your character should have a goal. All right, thanks, I guess. Um, so I don't know. And also there are one of the things we haven't touched on is factions. So bonus mom, I think you would be part of the Ace Corp faction.
Yes. And
Um,
my goal is, and I don't know, we don't have I don't have the names for things,
yeah,
but I want to be the head of the hydroponics department for like this whole whatever.
or you can just say Ace Corp, I guess.
Okay, head of hydroponics for Ace
Okay.
Corp. Okay, thank you.
Um, yeah, let's see. Ooh, okay. All right, that's going to be, and I think you can possibly have more than one goal, and I assign like XP values based on how tough they are to accomplish and stuff like that. But since we're not really playing yet, we don't actually have to worry about that stuff. In terms of the mechanics of it, we can just sort of think about, you know, whatever. So,
And what is my home world? Because you said
your
something was,
homeworld would be Asteria,
it is. Okay.
Aesteria.
I wasn't sure. You said there was something on the
Yeah.
map that was
And then
wrong, and I
your
wanted to be
home
sure.
world would be La Evathas.
Yes.
Yeah. And then our psychic, where is this guy from? Or girl or whoever this is. I think let's have them be from. Okay, wait. Yeah, let's have them be from. Okay. do I want to make this person, because I have some crazy factions in here. Okay, I'm going to leave this up to you guys. Should I make my psychic person a member of the Consecrated Sainthood of Bapto-Catholicans or a member of the Reformed Communion of Baptodesterians?
Yes, you should.
The Catholic one.
The Bapto-Catholicans. Okay.
Yeah.
So your faction is, I'm just going to say Bapto-Catholicans. Your homeworld in that case is going to be Saint Verterius in Larian 13 system. Saint Verterius Larian 13. Okay.
Now, for faction, would my shipbreaker, who I've named Edward Moretta, or Eddie Moretta,
yes,
would he work for Ace Corp? I feel like that would kind of be the...
Well, yeah, so I guess, sure. I think he would
like
start working for Ace Corp. I think there's another faction he might become involved with, but I don't want anyone to really know a lot of information about that faction before the game starts.
Cool. So should I start with just Ace Corp on the faction, and then if we play with it, maybe it'll change down the line?
Yes.
Cool.
I like that.
Ace Corp. I'm a union man, but they didn't let me have the union, so I guess I work for corporate overlords.
Yep. Okay, and then this character is going to be Sister.
What is my goal? Start Shipbreakers Union.
Sister Xenia. That is her name. Sister Xenia. Okay. All right. Well, folks, we've made 2 experts and a psychic. We didn't make any warriors today, but the process is pretty similar. You just put your skills in shoot, stab, or punch instead of into fix and connect. And you get more bonus attack bonuses and hit points, pretty much. And that's more or less it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Lucky them.
So
do we get more hit points as we level up?
You do, yes.
Okay, so I have 2 goals in mind if we are doing goals.
Okay.
One, he wants to start a union for shipbreakers under Ace Corp.
Sure.
And then 2, I think that he sends a big chunk of his paychecks to pay for like his daughter's college fund.
Okay. Very cool.
So fund child's education. We'll just say that for now.
There you go.
I don't know what the XP values of these would be.
Support daughter education. Very good. Yeah, I think that would be like 1 XP. And I think, just spitballing here, mechanically, I would have like a credits threshold that you would meet, and every time you can send that many credits, you would gain an XP point. And then something like starting a union would be tough. You would get like 2 or 3 XP for actually accomplishing that, right? So, cool. Well, I think we did it, guys. So, hopefully you all enjoyed that little tutorial. We kind of went through the process. If you're interested in that, you can find the Stars Without Number system for free on DriveThruRPG. Just Google Stars Without Number free PDF. You can get it very easily. There also is a deluxe edition that the PDF is like $20 and has some additional rules in it for making like AI or transhuman or alien PCs and stuff like that. And some rules for like mechs and things that are very cool. And then you can get the character sheets are in Roll20 or they come with the PDF. And you can do that. We will hopefully be trying to run some games in the system. I might come up with like a one-shot to run a couple of times here and there in the server if I can find people that are interested in doing it. And I hopefully when we finish Region of Bedegar, we'll be trying to start up a short campaign, and I'm hoping short, like 6 to 8 sessions, like really a pretty short campaign, to run in this system focused in the Ace cluster, and kind of go from there. So, yeah, thanks everybody. Thank you, our guinea pigs, Jacob and Bonus Mom, for being here. I appreciate you guys. And next thing that we're going to do, I doubt it'll be next week. It'll probably be sometime in like the 2nd or 3rd week of March, something like that. We are going to do a tutorial battle in this system. So I am going to get some more players, and we can either use these characters or make some that might be a little more combat effective. Who knows? And we can just run a quick combat that will have a very thin patina of narrative justification for why they are where they are and doing what they're doing. But just to kind of test out the combat system and do a tutorial on that so that we can sort of get our hands dirty with that. And then after that, a few weeks later, we'll do the same thing with ship combat. And then we'll have done our tutorials for this system. And then in a few months, hopefully when we finish up Region of Bedegar, we will try and actually run an actual play of it so you guys can see the thing in action. Other than that, we'll be back with Curse of Strahd this Friday on the 3rd of March. And we'll deal with the fallout from them, their whole winery situation. Any other thoughts, questions, comments about the system you guys have now that we've kind of made our first characters here?
Yes, if you are approached by the couple of people, one or the other of the people who didn't get to make a character tonight and they're interested in going through it again, I would not mind making a different character, a war. I don't think I want to get into the psychic. That sounds a little hairy to me, but maybe a warrior or something. I might want to go along and do that again.
Cool.
Yeah, and if the same, that could be the opportunity to make I'm going to say instead of a astrogeologist, I'm going to say xenoarchaeologist. Very really dialing in on the Indiana Jones.
Nice. Indiana Jones in space.
Yeah.
I actually made a character. I made Spike Spiegel in this system as I think he was my example adventurer. And I made him as an expert fighter, and he's kind of good at like noticing and punching people.
That's rad.
And sneaking. And it actually, I felt pretty good about it. I was like, this really, I feel like the flavor that I got off of this would actually make me feel like I was playing him. A lot of times when you come to an RPG with an idea of like, I want to play Wolverine in D&D, and it's like, D&D's not really designed to play Wolverine. You kind of can't make that character very easily, and it's not really going to feel like him necessarily. But I actually felt like I probably would feel like I was playing that dude if I played that character, which is kind of cool. So, okay, well, I think that does it, everybody. Thank you again, Bonus Mom Jacob, for hanging out, and we are going to peace out, and we'll catch y'all later.